I think it'll be really interesting tonight to see former President Trump's speech and see what tone he takes when he does that. I think right now he has a great opportunity to really seize on that moment of unity. It's going to be his first speech since that attempted assassination on him. So it'll be really interesting to see if he can seize the moment here and focus on unity.
And absolutely, that is the sentiment shared by the delegates from the state of Wisconsin, specifically the delegates who have ties to our region, the Coulee region and western Wisconsin at large. They have a couple of policy issues in particular that they want Trump to focus on, and they also want, more broadly, a return to civility politically. Western Wisconsin delegates know the RNC in their state is a massive moment.
It's historic. This is the first time the Republican Party is hosting the convention in its home state.
A historic moment with calls for unity behind a historically polarizing Donald Trump.
I don't agree with President Trump 100% of the time, and I tend to look at what people do, not what they say.
They've done a really good job at getting speakers that speak to a wide variety of people who have perhaps doubts in certain areas regarding Trump.
They say Trump's policies rise above past campaign rhetoric because for them, they want solutions to high gas prices and, above all, the border crisis.
Our fentanyl deaths and our overdose deaths have doubled in the last year or two in La Crosse. People getting dropped off in a small community and knocking on the door trying to get work at a factory, and nothing's been done to take care of those migrants that have come through. But they were promised certain things.
Hudson delegate Matthew Russ says the border crisis impacts the nation's very survival.
If you had 40, 45 people adopted into your home and you can only hold 4, 5, 6, what do you do with the others, right? Is it more loving to keep them in squalor, or is it more loving to put them back in the countries where they came from?
They hope this RNC has shown Wisconsinites and the country that their party is one of inclusion, not division.
The Republican Party is about equal rights for all under the law, and I believe the Republican Party has always been that. It hasn't changed.
So a couple of topics there touched on by the delegates from those areas who essentially represent other Republican voters here in the state of Wisconsin. Topics we have not heard a lot about: abortion and election integrity. And Chairman Brian Schimming has alluded to especially abortion being something that he believes Republicans were essentially wrong on when it came to political messaging in the last election cycle. So not particularly surprising we haven't heard a lot of it at the RNC, but it is something else, and that we'll probably hear a lot in the next 3.5 months.
Oh, definitely. I think Democrats really want to push that messaging, that they are going to be the pro-choice party, and we'll see. I mean, obviously the Republicans have kind of changed their messaging on it now that Donald Trump has called for maybe a little bit less restrictions than some more conservative members of the party would like to see.
Yeah, turning things back to the states. Now the ball is in Donald Trump's court as to what kind of unifying message the Republican Party will try and showcase. It all goes through the former president. He is slated to speak from 9 to 10:30 tonight. Not quite sure if that will be seated to, specifically, or if it will be early, a little bit later. But once the balloons are falling here in the Pfizer Forum, we'll be here shortly on News 8 Now to recap the entire Republican National Convention. So for Allison Fergan, I'm Ken Kozarowski. We are live in downtown Milwaukee. Emily, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Ken and Allison.